Welcome to Via News CEO and Founder Interviews. Today we have the pleasure to be here with Ricardo Nunes. Ricardo, how are you?
Hi Miguel, good morning to you. Thank you so much for this invitation. For us it's really cool to be here. I'm quite well. It's morning, but I'm quite well.
We'll manage.
We'll manage, yes.
So you're the co-founder of O Beneficio?
Yes.
Tell us, before going into that, let us know a little bit about your background.
Okay. I've started my activity as an entrepreneur 22 years ago. I was studying in Coimbra. I was living in a fraternity house called Bobaela. And then one day I looked into, with a friend, we looked into a festival called Paredes de Cora. And we said, oh, we should do like one in our hometown. I'm from a branch. So we started and we make one. So that was my first venture. I founded a company called Zona B 22 years ago, and I was telling to you, it was a good experience, but also a bad experience. And I went out from that company. I gave my 50% share. I've paid some debts that we had because of one venture that we did on those days, and then started my own path as an individual. So I started working in the music industry. So during 12 years, that was my main activity. I was producing concerts, festivals, events, corporate events. And then one day, some guy from a media agency, Rui Ribeiro, called me and said, oh, do you want to come here and help us do an event called Plain Out Jazz? Was the House Jazz, it was like 12 years ago. And then I entered...
The very beginning of Jazz, yeah.
Yes, it was the second year. And then after that, I was there one day and someone said, oh, you should be the one that should start taking care of social media. You have to bear in mind that it was the beginning of Facebook. And I said, okay. I studied chemistry when I was in Coimbra. So I started looking into it. Oh, it could be like working like a diffusion model, like in chemistry. So like the law of Henry. And then, okay, I will take that chance. And then I started my path in media, and today I'm also the head of content of Mindshare, and I have also Beneficio as a venture, as something that I suppose in the future will be amazing.
What big lessons did you learn back then that are helping you now?
One is that we should be always structured. It's structured in a sense that we should have always the capacity to strive and to give an answer that is straight to the point. So how can I explain this? So imagine, in those times I was like always saying, okay, what happened will happen. And that's good as a starting point. We should be always prepared for everything. But if we don't have like the backup to have like the financial stability that you need to have a company, or the rules to make it like with the hair of the dog, as we say here in Portugal, like
to be sustainable, right?
Yes. And if you don't have that vision or you are not structured, I think it's impossible to thrive at a business. That, for me, that was the big lesson. And as I was telling you before, I had like really bad an event in my life that was really bad luck and also lack of preparation. And I stayed for 10 years paying that mistake, like in financial terms. So for me, that was the big lesson. You should not look into stuff without thinking about the whole implications of it. So for me, that was the key issue and the key learning.
So tell us about O Beneficio.
Okay.
Where is Beneficio today?
Okay. I can tell you also what was the starting point.
Yes.
Okay. So Beneficio, it was like an hashtag in my vocabulary. It was like a multifaceted word that I was always using to do. Oh, that was a beneficio. That is a beneficio. Oh, it's a beneficio. So I was using that word a lot in all my life since Coimbra. And then one day someone at Mindshare told me, you should like make a brand of it. And I was, oh, that's impossible to make a brand called Beneficio. So I went to Impi and it was available. So I bought the brand. So after that, I was always telling to my friends and to everyone that I was working, one day I will have Beneficio. And the first lesson that I got from that it was impossible to make it alone. Okay? So
that was lesson number one.
Lesson number one. Most of the entrepreneurs say, oh, I have this idea that will change the world and I will do it by myself. It's impossible. When you realize that you only when you realize that you only be able to do something when you have help, it's the first step for success, in my opinion. So, and I had also really clear ideas of what would be the type of person that I would need to have as a partner. So I talked to Paulo, which is the other co-founder, and it is a friend from my childhood in Abrantes, and he had the same principles and values as myself. So we said, okay, we should have a company that would have be fair, and in the sense that should be human-centric. Okay, so this was the starting point, to have a company that was not ruled by the way that all the companies are ruled. So that was the starting point. And then the other step was we had to have a creative principle, and we have one, and which is nobody knows what it is, but it will be amazing. Okay, so that's the starting point for everything that we do at Beneficio. In that sense, Beneficio is like a label, like a publisher, and we work in every area possible. So we have 4 products nowadays, and I can explain. So you have olive oil, ginginha, and we have also a backpack made of recycled seat belts, and we have also some sleeves made in Minde. And it was like that. So we can say that we have this approach on life.
Tell us a little bit about the gap that you discovered when you're launching Beneficio.
The gap, because I was
the market gap there that you just found out and you
so the
explored.
So the thing is, it was like I was talking to everyone about Beneficio, and it was like sometimes, in a sense, I was like the crazy one that was always talking about something and wasn't doing nothing. So one day I truly remember that my girlfriend Anna told me, you should stop saying that, because people say that you are crazy and you will never fulfill nothing. And I said, look, okay. And that was like a wake-up call. So I started.
So you're all talking, no doing, right?
Yes. And then I did what I always did in my life. I asked for help, okay? And I started talking to someone, and then Paulo appeared, we've talked, we discussed, and one day he said to me, we need to do it. And I said, I'm totally up with that. And then we started, it was really strange, because we were trying to make the brand, okay? And then Paulo brought to us Marta, and Marta started making the branding, and then we should like find a product. Okay, and another thing that I didn't say to you is that when we started the company, we said to ourselves that we would only do it limited editions of 100 copies, okay? And then we would make like 100 copies, you could choose the number and you could put your name on it, on the label. And then we would do further editions that would be like silk screens, okay? Like the things like serigrafias that we will make like the original. So when you look into Mona Lisa, you have the original, and then you have an industry of silk screens. And it was like the principle of how we would build the model, the economic model. And it started really well. And when one day we said, okay, we have lots of products, and we said to ourselves, look, we should do something that would connect us with the nature and do the artisanal production. So we started thinking about what type of products would be like connected. And we find out that would be olive oil, okay? But we didn't know nothing about olive oil. Okay, we didn't know nothing about anything. So we started talking to some friends, and then we found out that we should do olive oil because it would be one of the hardest products to go to market, because everyone has an aunt or a father or a grandfather that has olive oil, and olive oil in Portugal is really cheap. And then we talked to this guy, we started talking to some producers, and then this guy called Luís, from Luís Coutinho, from Herdade da Tapada da Tejeira. I really remember I called him and said, look, we are from Beneficio, and we wanted to make like olive oil with you, because he has the best olive oil, because it's totally sustainable, it's fair trade, certified, so it's amazing. You should go there because it's really beautiful. We should do a movie there about the production of the whole thing. And then he said, come, and we had nothing. So we went there. with another guy called Nunes, which is also a good friend. He took care of all the visual universe of Beneficio, because Paulo also worked a lot of years in a creative agency, in the top creative agency. So we had these strong feelings about the visual, the universe, how we should pass our values. So I told him, look, Nunes should come with us. And we went like on brainstorming the whole way, and we were filming everything. And I remember like it was today. So the first thing, Luis was there, we arrived at the car, and Nunes went out of the car, starting taking pictures with his telephone and filming everything. And then the guy told us, look, if you want, I could put the whole structure working for you guys to make a movie of everything. And we didn't have nothing, only a telephone. So we make it like live on tape, and we make it everything. And then when we arrived,
That's
Luis,
the real bootstrap way of doing things.
totally, and it was doing like work in progress, because it was the first time that were face to face with that guy. And then when we arrived on Lisbon, we said, look, now we have this material, all these images, really cool. And then we said, look, we should make like the silk screen process to the bottles. And then Marta, she has like a silk screen. It was called Lavanderia, which is really nearby here. So it's really cool that we are here today. And then we filmed with better equipment the process of making the silk screen. And when we noticed we had a product, we had a movie, we had a website, we had everything, and we said, let's go to market. So the first thing was to make the price. And then we make the price. It was 50 euros a bottle. And we start selling on the first day, which is totally the opposite that people talk about startups. We had that thing, because we had that bad experience before. We said to ourselves, and me and Paulo, that we would start a company that would be sustainable by selling since day one. And until now, we have a company that didn't have any investment till now, only the investment from the founders. And we are totally at the break even. And now we are starting to think about investment.
Tell us about O Beneficio unique value proposition.
Okay, that's how can I say? We don't have a USP said like that, because most of the companies that said that we have a USP, they have only one product, or they have only one vision. We are totally multidisciplinary, and totally, our USP is that we are like an innovation laboratory. So we have this principle, we don't have factories or nothing. So we make a process with the producers of any of those areas or products, that we say to them, look, you don't have innovation in your company, or the innovation is really expensive for you guys to make it, because we are talking about producers, and our main target are producers, small producers that make things like before, like with high quality, that products that take time to be the best ones. So we want to capture that quality, because we truly think that it's only possible for a company like ours to go to outside markets if you have like a really high-end quality product. Okay, so we give to those producers the partnerships. I can give you an example. For instance, ginginha. So we've made like this recipe that is exclusive to Beneficio, and we've made like this marketing campaign, and we went to Miguel Esteves Cardoso, which is the one that is well known for giving us, because he's a ginginha lover, and we sent to him. So he put our ginginha, saying that it's really as good as an old port that is worth 65 euros. So what we do, we go to producers, we make products with them, and we make a production where they receive more money, because we only sell less at a higher value. So we are at the business of creating immaterial factories, and to make products that are really high-end. So we give like the vision of a huge company to a small company. We give them ambition, we give them structure, and as we said, as we are always saying, we put the plug-in Beneficio in the production of that product. So we give new markets, new products, new approaches, and we help them to thrive, as we also. So I think this is our USP. It's the mindset.
According to your experience, what's your take on limited edition products?
For me, as a trend, and now we have made our pitch deck, and we've studied a lot. We've made a lot of research. So the world is going through a path that it's impossible to sustain the growth model that we have in our society. Yesterday, I was reading an article saying why business companies and business CEOs should not fear degrowth. Okay, degrowth. It's like
What is that?
it's making like the object of the company is to sell less at a higher value. This is degrowth. Okay, so the thing is that when you are looking into companies, we are always talking about scale. Okay, and all the startups have that like motto. Oh, we are going to build this market, our audience, and we are going to scale up. Okay, that's 99% of the entrepreneurs will say that to you. Okay, we don't think like that. We think totally the opposite. We should do less, more durable, and with better quality. And that's a trend. It's a global trend. It will be impossible to sustain a world like in June. We will every year in June the planet run out all the natural resources that can be recycled. So we are working every year with less 6 months in terms of production. So it's unbearable, and that will happen in the foreseen future. So we are already there because we start doing this as an example of our backpack. Our backpack is made of seat belts, recycled seat belts, which is the only part of the car that could not be recycled because of security. You never know if that seat belt was broke due to an injury or an accident. So what we thought about it is that, okay, we have the seat belts and they last for like a life. So it's a backpack for life, and they are cool, and you have here a market. So the market says, every time we buy more and use them less, and that will be unbearable for the environment. So I think limited editions and using this type of mindset will change the way that we make business. And countries like Portugal, which cannot compete with huge productions, neither the United States, because they do everything in China, so I think it's impossible, we'll need to focus on this. In my humble opinion, you need to focus on quality and less quantity.
So you focus on going narrow instead of broader, right?
We want to go broad in terms of, we know that our consumers, we can sell like 20 backpacks in the United States, 15 in Portugal. There are lots of consumers for our products all over the world. So we tend to use like the scale in terms of vision where we sell. For instance, we have already sold our products for 22 countries. Okay, we have our products in China, in the United States. So there are markets for us. What we need more media spending and investment. I think the only problem that Portuguese companies have is that they don't have the resources to make branding outside Portugal.
What's your take on the feedback that your
Our products?
Yes, that the clients have been having for?
We never had a complaint in our products. Never.
Is there a specific thing that the traits that they identify?
They identify. I think they identify the quality of our products, because we are really, how can I say, demanding in terms of quality. So the backpacks are indestructible. Okay, they are made of seat belts. It's really difficult. The olive oil, it's really good because it's fair trade, it's bio, everything is really, how can I say, according to the laws of Mother Nature. And the people that have bought the olive oil, and it was already lots of them, we only have feedback saying that the olive oil is amazing, and also the packaging, because we really take care of our image, because it's like I've told you before, I think Portuguese companies don't take really well care of their branding, and their values are not imprinted in the products. Regarding the ginger, everyone loves it. Everyone loves because it's really, I can tell you that the average alcohol on ginger in Portugal, it's 19 degrees. We have 24 on ours, because we looked into it. Look, there's a part of the market don't have like a ginger like a whole Scott. So we've made a breakthrough. Nowadays we have like ginger that is like old whiskey, like high-end old whiskey, and people are reacting to that. And one thing that we've made to the market is that the price of ginger rised, and our bottles are being copied by others, and we are not a producer, we are only...
That's always a good thing, right? When people
Yes.
start copying you.
So that's why we put ourselves as an innovation laboratory, because when that producer, it's called Opidum, made a partnership with us, so they gave us a part of the factory and the line, and we developed something, and we put those values of innovation in the market, and the market started to make like an adjustment. Nowadays we are also part of the National Association of Spirits, and it was like a big victory for us. It will be communicated in the next week or something. So a small producer like us that doesn't have even a factory, and we are with the big boys, as I can say, with the stakeholders and we are there by our vision and the quality of our product. So we tend to think that when people give us feedback, they are being truly, because when we go to the stakeholders of those markets, everyone says the same, is that our product is really good. And also the thing about limited editions with this model of making editions, not the original ones, but also after, give us like, when someone is trying to buy something and it will stay with you forever, like the original in a mid condition, we are also entering in the collector's market, because our first copies of each product are the only ones that you could print your name and choose the number. So in the near future, we think that I have a friend that bought the first product of Beneficio only with that intention. Say that in 10 years, it will be totally worse. It was the first product that ever Beneficio sold. So I know that I've mixed a lot of concepts here in your question, but I think that you are going on that direction.
Where do you want to take Beneficio in the years ahead?
We want to take Beneficio for the world. We want to become a global company. But a global company, not in the sense that a traditional global company with the office all over the world. No, we have two offices. One is at Startup Lisbon, and the other is in Óbidos, in the Parque Tecnológico of Óbidos. And we are there because we want to have that connection with nearby Lisbon, with producers in the food market and those types of products, because it's really important for us to have that connection with the Earth, the Mother Earth. And we want to stay also in Lisbon because Lisbon nowadays thriving with life, and when I look today at Lisbon, it remembers me. I was not there, but what I've read about the 15th and the 16th century. So it's a port where everyone is arriving. And one thing that now you will say, oh, those guys are crazy. There's no, as far as I know, or I'm aware, there's not a global Portuguese brand. Okay, there's not a brand. Every company, every country have a global brand, and there's no brand from Lisbon or from Portugal that is well reckoned all over the world. And we want to do that with Beneficio. We want to manage to set up a love brand that thrives globally.
That's a big project, right?
It's a project, but it's not big in sense of
demanding.
No, it's big in terms of commitment from our behalf. It's big. But it's not big in terms of investment, because, as I was telling you, we live in an immaterial world, so we don't need to be like totally in places with physical headquarters, so we can be dematerialized all over the world with our values. And we are looking into this like in the edge of something that is happening. For instance, when you look into things like Matrix, okay? You are connected with something and they're taking energy. No, we are living in this edge of times, and I'm really happy with that, living in those times, these current times, because when you look into Instagram, you have a feed like this, and you have a feed on that. Now, we are becoming, in the next 5 to 10 years, probably, we are the first generation that will live with 360 degrees digital atmosphere landscape within your body. So our experience about what's being live, we living, our experience towards the world will be totally digitalized. So we will all be walking on the street.
Virtual reality.
Yes, and in that sense, it will be really easy to become global, okay? Because you are passing by here, like a Chinese is passing through Lisbon, we'll look into this billboard or something, and we'll be totally connected to buy Beneficio, a backpack he sees on the street. So it will make like a swipe, it will be the price, the brand, and you will make it like that. So in that sense, I think it's difficult, of course, it's not easy, but we have the clear vision that digitalization will be a key factor for our growth, and we are betting everything on that.